Dawn here in Florida, and the humidity's back up, and I'm back on this Delta bandsaw. So I decided to change up what I was going to do on the bandsaw. I originally wasn't going to use the 2-speed gearbox in it, but after I got to looking at it, I started looking inside of here. I noticed that the gear reduction on this is about 5 1/8 to 1. Okay, and that gear right there, this is the outer shaft. Okay, this gear coming in is turning at a 5.125 to 1 ratio, and this is the gear that rides off of the inner gear. And again, this is probably about a 6 to 1 ratio. I don't know. I didn't count it up. It doesn't matter. But the problem with these gears, and I have a few of these, is that the teeth are chomped out of most of these. Okay, I guess the students in the school beat on these pretty well. This one here is not too bad. I got a few chips out in the teeth. I could probably braze those in and recut them and use this gear. But when I was thinking about how all this worked, I realized these 2-speed Delta bandsaws are pretty noisy, and a lot of that just comes from that gear train. So what I got to thinking was this: why not use this 5.125, which runs pretty smooth, it sounds pretty quiet, reconfigure this so that we have a plate in the middle here to cordon off or to corral this area here, and on these 2 shafts put a couple seals on here, and on the outer shaft we could put a pulley like this, and rather than have a gear drive up through, we could have a pulley drive on the inside. So basically on the outside we'd have a VFD powered 3-phase motor running into this shaft where we could control the input speed, and then we'd have this massive gear reduction. It would be, by the time we got done, probably 12-15 to 1. I'm not sure. I did the math in the house, and it's all working out for me. So we'll take this gearbox, modify it. Internally we'll run pulleys, and I got 2 pulleys, and this one I already cut out to make sure that it would work. And as you can see, I already cleaned it up so we have some nice flat surfaces to purchase against. And what I was going to do was put this in the lathe, modify it so that this pulley would go onto there. And I know it looks quite a lot smaller, but I'm controlling a lot of the speed through a higher horsepower motor, 3-phase with a VFD. So this internal reduction here after the 5 1/8 to 1 is going to be about another 2.5 to 1. So this will bring us down plenty. That's not the problem. Okay, so this is really the heart of what makes that 2-speed gearbox work. Basically you have a gear with this cog on here, and it sits up on this shaft inside, and when you push this lever in and out, it engages and disengages that. So when you're running to the lower shaft, you're coming into the transmission up through here and then out to the bandsaw here. When you pull this back, okay, this gear spins freely like this, and then you would run off of this shaft, so you'd have direct drive, and that would be your wood cutting speed. So we're going to try to maintain that where we have the ability to run high speed for wood and our lower gear reduction for metal. But modifying this transmission is really going to be the first order business, and I hope by doing this we end up with a nicely functioning transmission that's quiet and gives us all the reduction we need. So as I showed you, I've already modified this. I wanted to make sure I was going to have a part that worked, and I've disassembled the gear here, meaning I've taken the bearing out, and this bearing is no good, so that's going in the garbage. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut all this off, and then we're going to turn this so that this will mount in on there, and then we're just going to bolt it on to this hub area here. So we have to get this in deep enough so that it lines up about like this, so that the belts align internally. So Let's go get to cutting on this and see what we can do. All right, let's go get set up in the lathe. All right, let's see if we can take this casting down a little bit. Okay, now all I have to do is drill, tap, and screw that on there. So let's go do that. Actually, I'm going to vacuum up first. Okay, so I went ahead and prick punch this. I'm going to drill this. This is on there, just it's centered perfect. So I'm going to drill this and then tap it, put a screw in there to hold it, and then I'll just do the others. There, that should be deep enough. Actually, I could go a lot deeper. All right, let's go try that. Let's get our screw started in there. There, now I get something to hold it while I'm drilling the rest. Okay, so now what we have here is a pulley that's able to freewheel on the hub, so I think that came out fairly nicely. And now we have the ability to lock it in and run that shaft via pulley. So part two, let's get on with the rest of the transmission, see if we can get that hooked up.